Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? YDBT Daily coming at you every Thursday. YDBT Daily. We do talking shit on Tuesday. We do peasant chat on Sunday morning. 9:30 Tuesday. 8 p.m. Tuesday. 8 p.m. Thursday. 9:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Today what I'm going to talk about is drag racers complaining and then, let's say, promoters bending the knee to try to please everybody. And you got to understand, in the racing game, the vast amount of people complaining, guys, the guys you think that are Billy Badass dudes complain the most on the backside. I'll give you an example. Well, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get into too much right now. I want to do the intro, do everything, but I'll talk about how a lot of people complain when there is a faster car in their division and they try to make it fit the rules because they maybe don't have the modifications that car does. Even though all cars fit within the rules, they try to chip away at the rules to exclude one car. It happened to Lund Racing during the 6R80 debacle, specifically at an event that is a Ford-only event that's held around this time of year. A lot of people got salty because Lund became the best at the 6R80 game, and they said they're kicking puppies, all this shit. Instead of innovating, getting on game, and actually being competitive, they actually tried to complain to the promoter saying, this is stupid, we're not going to show up. And the promoter had to bend the knee, which forced Lund Racing out of that situation and forced us into Billy Badass stuff. Street Fighter, World Cup, Texas 2K real fast streetcar class, and others, even though we had a 6R80 transmission. We'll talk about the whining and complaining that's happening on events. A lot of people are just crying because there's a faster car in their division, and it's forcing people to not even show up for those events. And that's when you see the really fast guys have a smaller and smaller and smaller class to work in, so they either have to slow their car down or basically make it a regular run-of-the-mill street car and take away any competitive edge they might have. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly says hello to the people here.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
It sucks. I didn't center it properly, but at this point, I don't care. It's Thursday. Let's get after it. D&H Performance, DHPerformance.com. The online parts house. If you want to buy parts and you want a bit of a discount, you got to go to DHPerformance.com. They might be doing a free tumbler giveaway for every $1,000 you spend there. So if you buy a fuel system, you got a free tumbler and you might get a little money off of the parts if you mention the show, DHPerformance.com. PMAS, Nick James, PMAS, the best cold air on the planet. Nobody else matters. I have had so many customers switch over to PMAS to their delight. The car drives great, makes good power. The install is easy. It's manufactured by not a retard. So PMAS, PMAS.com. Partsfrom.com. They're going to get a Deep Impact Blue GT500 in, and I want that rear bumper cover because mine is all scratched up. From moving it in and out of the garage, check out any used parts, Mustang, Dodge, Camaro stuff, gay shit at Partsfrom.com. Cranking pallets too. And he's getting into the refurbished motor game. We'll see how that goes. Two Auto Solution. Run me down on Total Solution, the best late model Mustang. Let's just say Mustang. He don't fuck with Chevy shit no more because there's no money in Chevy shit. Broke ass, shit ass cars. I wouldn't fuck with Chevy stuff. It's slow. You got to build the engine to run a number. It's gay shit. And Bellhousing Industries, the best wheel if you want to let everyone know that you sell drugs. I almost hit the wrong button, but we're gonna get after it. Let me move one. Oh, that's the wrong one. There's the right one. I'm gonna move this one just under the sponsor band. And as always, richprince.com. You're gonna go to Rich Prince. You're gonna buy hoodies. I'm gonna do a hoodie giveaway today, so I'm gonna give something away today. We'll make it up as we go along. But I want to give away something so that I can feel like I'm giving back to the people. You guys have been great with me. You guys are buying stuff. You guys are watching the show. A lot of people are watching. A lot of good engagement. So I'll go ahead and do a giveaway on richprince.com/USA collections, whatever collections, USA, whatever, and whatever. What a great promo. Let's say hi to the people here. And we'll get out to talking about people whining and complaining about the rules at races. One of our Charlie Liam Phelps, Clint Stroke, Great Pops. If it's a 10 or 80, you're a non-driving motherfucker. Kilometers, Harley Gonzalez, the Jocko Bell, Mini Bike Madman, Arturo Mosillo, YouTube Corrupt. You are an old school brother. I love having you here. I love seeing that name all the time with the Holly Haram logo. Joe Jackson, Nick, Valley 10 speed. Good morning, good morning. You're getting close to the Holly Haram. Money 540, B. Levesh, Cody Jones, Dixon, JZ's, Z303, Clean 2GT, Frank Weaver, Toby, Joe Swish, Douche Did It, Lupe, Marquez, Michael Rodriguez. They bought my headers from the ZR1. Douche Did It, and I got him hooked up with the tuner that tuned my ZR1. The guy's named Tom. Legit guy. Douche Did It, I'm Hung Solo, Renee, Bazil, Stinaloo. TJ Sikorsky, Alverga Larga, Steven Contreras, D-Rock Fox, Mustang Dennis, Renee, Ignacio Ramirez, D-Rock Fox, Bryson Whip, Pito Chiquito, Harley Jet Sled, The Gap Father, Martin Robles, Drobo Style, Ants 19 Coyote, John Jones, we got Smoked 302 Mustang, Stroked 302 Mustang, Brennan Bell, Mark Richardson, Donna Alberino, Coyote 860. Oh, you're from the Hartford area. 50 Stanley or Connecticut. It's shit. It's garbage. That's it. It's complete shit. I don't know why you live there. Josh, Gregory Upvich, JD Swag, D-Rock Fox, Rizzy, Mr. F-Cam himself, Yusuf Logan, Donkey Mac, Javier, Jim, CJM, Stick, Sick Cylinders, Honda Forever. Let's get all the way to the bottom. Reckless Slow 99, Ricky 50, D&H Performance. Reppin'. I love it. Even Jay, Abel, S550, Douche Data, Brandon Jones, Chase Power, Lewis 50, Thunderbird in the house. Okay, so what ended up happening with Lund Racing is now happening in most car events. When there's a dominant car in the class, what people are going to do is they don't want to go up against that car. So what they do is they try to rule that car out of competition. Instead of going out there and building a better car, they say, well, we can't compete, so we're just going to rule that car out of competition, meaning we're going to complain to the event organizer, we're going to complain to the track, we're going to complain to everybody that this is not in the spirit of the competition. So I don't understand. This is why I think drag racing is gay. Every single motherfucker on podcast, on everything, run what you brung, come get it. Well, I'm going to drag your ass. Wait till you sit. And they're on Facebook talking shit. They're talking shit in group chats. They're on WhatsApp. They're getting after it. But behind closed doors, they're like, hey, I don't think that car has a factory firewall. And it specifically states in paragraph 3, section 2, that you gotta have a factory firewall. Oh, and factory shock towers. So you know what people do now? They like put a cap on the shock tower. They just put like literally the top of it, but the rest of it is all tube chassis stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you are smart enough to bend the rules a little bit, because they don't say you need to have the whole firewall intact. All you need to do is have a factory firewall. So if you have like a chunk of it, a strip of it, they'll say that's a factory firewall. In the rules, it does not state you have to have the whole factory firewall in place. So what they're trying to do is build 3/4 cars, steel roofing quarters, some kind of parity to make it somewhat legal. But when you're racing in a badass class, and I'll use 6R80 as an example. For a very long time, Lund Racing campaigned the Blue Goose in the 6R80 class. We were limited by the IRS. You're going to only go a certain time with the IRS. Brian Luna has proven that you can go 6s with it. A couple of other guys have gone good numbers. Aldo is right there knocking on the door of a 6.9 pass with his car. So Aldo and Brian Luna from Mexico Racing League are probably the two to watch that have been 7.0, meaning they're knocking on the door. So once we figured out, okay, we have to move over to a chassis that has a little better control of the rear suspension, because let's be honest, the S550, you're going to be limited. You can't really have separation unless you rake the car, you pre-rake the car, make it a pogo stick. It's not going to really be favorable for really fast stuff. I'm talking about 1.0 60 foot times and better. So the Grey Goose got built. And Senior got the Grey Goose out, started going 770s, 760s, 740s. And then he's like, all right, the rear end's got to change. We got to do something. So they ended up chopping off the 8.8, going to Blacklist, getting a Billy Badass built 3-link with a wishbone, 9-inch, mini tub, carbon tubs, like really badass stuff. But we kept the 6R80 in there. So they did that so they could have better control of the separation, better control of better shock control, better control generally, because you need it at that power level. And quickly we got into the 6s, and we've been as quick as a 660. So what did every 6R80 guy that was competing in certain classes that were named 6R80 that we sponsored? We sponsored the class. We said, we want you guys to show up. We want to see who the Billy Badass motherfuckers are. And the moment they saw this car show up, they all got scared. I'm not even going to show up now. I'm not going to race that class because the Lunds are going to win. But guess what? In one of the events, the Lunds actually spun and did the last 6R80 event that they ran, that they sponsored. The Lunds actually spun a couple of times. So if someone would have just gone A to B 7-second passes, they probably would have beaten the Lunds because the Lunds were deadly inconsistent all weekend. So not many cars showed up. That went away. There were Paxton cars, there were Vortec cars, there were Whipple cars, there were everything cars that were on 6R80, 10R80 class. And they stopped showing up because they thought the Lunds were puppy kicking. So they started complaining. They started doing all this stuff. The event organizer was trying to keep all that stuff happening. And he started to change the rules that, we're like, this is stupid. You could show up with a fucking Pro Mod. As long as you have a 6R80 in it, we don't care. And everyone started complaining, bitching, and moaning like a fucking bunch of homos. And they stopped showing up. And the Lund said, we're not sponsoring this anymore. This is stupid. It's not worth it to us. There is no meat in the bone. Everyone is scared. They talk all that shit online and they cope. The main cope of those people was, it's not a 6R80. Because it's a 2-speed. I'm like, actually, it's a 6R80 case, 6R80 4M torque converter from Circle D off the shelf, a couple of billet parts you can buy from Blue Streak, and like a one-way or a drum or a intermediate or forward shaft. But it's 6R80 stuff, clutch pack, all that stuff. It's all 6R80 stuff, but people just did not want to innovate. They're like, no. So they wanted to really make the Lunds hate life by throwing rules out there. And then, the event organizer's trying to do his best to get people to show up. But at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And that's going to happen in the overdrive class also, because what's stopping Lund from putting overdrive in that transmission and saying, we're going to go up and we're going to go and kick puppies in the overdrive class. And we're going to have a 6-second car in the overdrive class. Oh my God, people will lose their shit instead of innovating and making shit faster. So they'll try to bitch at the promoter nonstop to get the Lunds out of there. No problem. So, exactly, Bondo Bird. One of the main complainers, Scott Hasty, because when I speak on somebody, I speak their name. Scott Hasty was bitching and moaning. Scott Hasty's one of those guys that thinks that the Lunds don't have a 6R80 in the car. He's a Whipple guy. He uses Lidio's tune and called it his own. Sorry, Scott. It's the truth. Sorry. So he was out there saying, oh, you guys are launching in, second gear, third gear, take it. Okay, cool. No problem. You do the same. No, I launch in true first gear. So what did he do? He put a tractor trailer tire in the back, bigger than whatever, put a 308 gear or a 273 gear in the back, re-gearing everything. So it's a favorable launch ratio, just like the Lunds did, but they did it in the transmission as opposed to the tire and the rear end. So then the class went away. Then the class went down to Bradenton. He didn't want to show up. He was out there, I can't beat the Lunds, so what am I going to do? So nothing. So he stopped showing up. Other people stopped showing up, and people just said, let me just join other classes, and we'll be good to go. So now what's happening and that class is done. The Lund stopped sponsoring it. It's over. King Daddy 6R80 is John Lund and Junior and done, and there is no refuting it unless somebody comes even close to, if you can run a 7.2, then you might be on the right track with the 6R80 stuff. He's getting kind of close. He's figuring some stuff out. But until somebody with a 6R80, I don't give a fuck what gear you launch in, gets close to a 7.2, nobody's even going to look your way. The Lunds are going to move over to Turbo 400 stuff and fuck around with that because there's no competition on the 6R80 world. But if I was the Lunds, I'd start fucking with overdrive classes. Hell, I would put a 6-speed back in it and launch in third gear and say, look, we're still running 6s and we're just launching in a different gear. And on the way back on the return road, let it go 3, 4, 5, 6, and people will have their mind blown. So people like really fast guys are experiencing the same issue with really fast guys in Extreme 28 or really, really fast classes. They also have fast cars. They also have bottom 4 second in the eighth or potentially low 6 second in the quarter mile cars. And they're just bitching and moaning because someone built a better car than most and that person is favored. So they're bitching and complaining. And what happens? The promoter starts to bend the rules, starts moving rules around 3 weeks before an event, and they're going to get their way to the point where this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of mediocre guys running that race, and the best of the best do not run. The best of the best don't go to that event. The Lunds have been pushed out of that class and into the Billy Badass stuff, the World Cup stuff, the top tier class of Texas 2K and FL 2K stuff. And we're talking street style stuff, not limited drag radial, not Hemi stuff, not straight meth stuff. The Lunds are still running a methanol-ethanol blend. They're running an intercooler. They're running wet deck. They're running coolant through it. So that is a street. That's what I've always said. If you're running water through it and you have methanol-ethanol blended fuels, you're good. Not 100% methanol. But we're now being pushed away from that. So if we're going to be pushed into those classes because all the mediocre guys started complaining about rules, then guess what? All of a sudden, that goes away. And the fastest car, the best of the best of that certain platform, doesn't show up to your race. Doesn't show up to your race. So you're like, all right, hey, we really want you to show up. Sorry, you bent the knee to everybody of mediocre status, and you didn't let the elite join your race. So the elite are going to leave your race and go to a race where they're allowed to be in. So don't be surprised if you're out there trying to include everybody into the race by bending the rules a little bit, and then you are excluding the people the public want to see. Guys, get on chat right now. This is what I want you to type, regardless of what I've said, regardless of regardless of my biases. When you go to a Ford race where there's a lot of coyotes, especially something full of modular cars, coyotes, 4 valves, who do you want to see there? Go. Name the names. Name the names. Who do you want to pay $20 for, potentially get diarrhea from the wings, burgers, or hot dogs at the concession stands to see race? You think I want to go there to see someone race that I've never heard of before? As a fan, when I used to go to the races, let's say if I go out there and an NHRA event, I want to see the Pendragons. I want to see the John Forces of the world. I want to see the best of the best there. If they said, they're not showing up because NHRA started being weird with rules. Well, John Force doesn't show up. Okay, well, who am I going to watch? A bunch of B, C class guys? And again, nothing wrong against being not top tier, but I don't give a fuck about rules per se. Now, one thing that is the opposite of that is the stick shift class. If you guys took a real close look at the FL2K race, you notice that on street cars that were 7.0 to, 9.0, or let's say 7.0 to like 850, that was like 100 cars. 100 cars, a shitload of cars. So there was plenty of cars to go around. Those cars used to be like an Elite 28, Elite Billy Badass stuff. And then when you see how many cars showed up for the Billy Badass stuff, there were 14 or 16. Imagine the Billy Badass cars that you come to see, there were less of those than there were street car. A lot of people are actually slowing their cars down so they can fit classes. Imagine that is a phenomena of, let's say, your success. If your success is out there making everyone else's life difficult, they'll just like, I'm going to leave. I can't compete. And okay, well, we're going to rule you out. We got to lump you in Extreme 28. The Lunds would not have qualified in streetcar. Again, we were in Extreme 28. We would not have qualified in streetcar. Why? We were too inconsistent. The track wasn't there for us, and we just didn't get it done. So that's another interesting wrinkle about trying to rule a guy out as opposed to racing him. Go race him. On the stick shift side of things, I'm not a fan anymore. And this is why. It's now become the lines between a turbo 400 car with a dump valve, a loose converter, and then lockup, let's say dump valve, lockup, the ability to manipulate the launch and just pushing a lever forward is eerily close to the really fast stick shift guys. The eerily fast stick shift guys have a fuse, an adjustable fuse called a clutch, and the adjustable clutch or pedal now becomes your launch mechanism, just like a dump valve, just like, you know, a looser converter. And if you want to couple it later on, well, the converter can be locked, and on the clutch side of things, you can add weight to maybe with certain RPM, it clamps on. But the rest of the car looks the same to me. So when I see a guy launch with a stick shift and does not shove the clutch in to go in between gear, when he pulls on the lever and a strain gauge pulls timing so that you can then get it into the next gear, I'm sorry, I don't see. Oh, and then there's a thing called, isn't it called a money shift thing? I think Tick Performance, let me see what this is. Tick Performance shifter, like money. There's a shifter that they make called the Money Shift F body style shifter. Guys, you want to be mind blown? This is what's happening out there in the stick shift world. This is apparently it doesn't even show a picture. Fuck, what's happening? Oh Jesus. So this Chrome has been an asshole lately, so I want to make sure this thing doesn't fuck up because Chrome has crashed on me a couple of times, and I want to make sure the stream doesn't get fucked up. So this is a Money F-body style shifter. Let's read the description. The infamous Money Shift is now a thing of the past. No more blown engines or destroyed transmissions. Our new Money Shift short throw shifter eliminates the dreaded 2-3-2. So on domestic stuff, I guess the straight down from third gear is our money shift when it comes to the T56. Only if you've driven a T56 do you know what that means. When you drive a T56, you go 1, 2, 3, and then you have to twist your wrist and kind of give it a back slap to do the 3-4 shift. Why is that? It's because you have to have a desirable angle, but the problem is you don't have the leverage as if you were gripping it this way. You have to turn your wrist and go like this because it's a slight angle on the gate. So they invented a shifter that locks you out of that. What? I didn't even watch one stick shift race go down. Guys, I'm a stick shift fanatic. I'm like, oh my God. And now that I've seen what's in these guys' cars, all these devices, all these doohickeys, all these adjusters, all these tamers, all these clutches, all these strain gauges, all these money shifters, what's the difference between that and a Billy Badass 400 with dump valves and lockup torque converters? Like maybe adjusting the clutch, but the launch and the moving of the lever, I would say is similar, and I'm good on that. I will not watch any outlaw style stick shift class. Don't care how many cars show up. Now, if somebody says, we got one rule and one rule only, diaphragm clutch. Actually, two rules. Synchronized transmissions and a diaphragm clutch. Oh, what's going to happen then? Everybody's going to complain. Guys, the amount of complaints is going to go up 300%. What the fuck? I configured my car a certain way. No problem. Stick a diaphragm clutch in it with a Synchro T56, and that is the fuse. That is the equalizer. That puts everybody on a level playing field. Your shit-ass McLeod 1200 and your synchronized T56 with a stock-ass shifter. I don't want to do that. Then you're not a stick shift driver. You might as well put a 400 in the bitch and run Extreme 28. We'll talk about it. What do you guys think? Am I full of shit? If you think I'm full of shit, that's cool to be wrong, but we can talk about it. Really, the only people I want to see is the Lunds, Brett, Aldo, Midnight, Mexico Racing League. Right. When you think of Coyote, guys, you think of like the best and the most visual. So you think of a Brett, you think of the Lunds, you think of Aldo, Midnight, you think of all of MSR Racing, Jim Brom. You think of anyone that has a badass FFRE motor in it. You know, like people that are, one, not pieces of shit, and two, well known in the Ford modular community, or let's just say Coyote, because Coyote really what matters. Modular to me. That's who you go see. You don't go see anybody else. And once those people slowly get pushed away from their classes, people stop showing up. Lund, Brett, and JFab, randoms of Coyote stock, six shift for sure. Jesus, Turvy, Midnight Velocity, and Mexico Racing. Lee says Colorado 16. Let me check my Turvy Catback. I honestly only know about Lund in the 14. That's actually moving. Valley 10 speed. That boy ain't showing up anywhere unless there's a big line of cocaine on the track. Get your smog check. Apparently, Turvy applied for a welding job. Get the fuck out of here. Stop it. I'm not going to make this a Turvy show. I literally don't care. I want to see Turvy race cow show. Money shifting is what makes it fun. A firm official sponsor of Turvy. I have 3 pedals and an H pattern. Blown 3 engines before I figured it out, says Slick Vic. Someone said, it's just like the Honda classes with second gear lockouts and strain gauges. It does, you're right. I don't watch the Honda classes go down. I don't watch stick shift go down because once I hear those slipper clutches and strain gauge shifts, I go, bye, see you later. Stick shift racing isn't stick shift anymore. Exactly. I have clutch slippers too. Clutch slippers, clutch tamers, long arm style clutches, and like, imagine you wake up and you go on a stick shift racing forum and you have a strain gauge and a slipper clutch on your car. You should look in yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, am I really a stick shift racer? Like, how much more work are you doing than a Turbo 400 guy? Turbo 400 guy lets go of a button. Stick shift guy lets go of a clutch. And then they just pull down, push up, pull down. Turbo 400 guy, if he's manually shifting, let's go of a button, nudge, parachute. Probably similar. Synchros in an RXE with my left foot, not even WAP box, 950s, man, shit. And they'll say, this is what they'll say, well, that's what the slow guys do. Well, let's just say, what is causing that car to be fast? You or all of the nannies? Is it you that's making a strain gauge equipped slipper style clutch or tamer and a money shift anti-money shift shifter on the car, or is it you? Because what's to stop me from going to the ghetto and getting a 14-year-old you know what, and I'm like, get in the car, yank it back, push it forward, yank it back when the light turns on, and he beats you? Are you a badass stick shift racer, or all of the nannies working in conjunction with each other? Actually, the tuner gets more credit. The tuner gets more credit. Whoever's tuning the clutch, whoever's tuning the car, gets more credit than the driver. Synchros and diaphragm class is where I'll split. What's it say here? Is where synchros and diaphragm class where it'll split the men from the boys. That's what I say. Oh, and JPC Racing, right? I don't really think they make much of an appearance outside of Maryland anymore, which sucks. Because I used to go to the track to watch them race. What's worse, a slipper clutch or no body? What's worse, a slipper clutch or no body, or both like Cletus? So it's been proven that Cletus's Corvette is not aerodynamically favorable. I just see that thing and I just like turn my head. I don't look at it in fascination. I'm not a fan of it. I don't hate it. I just go, like, I don't even look at it. It's just like, whatever. Well, the mechanics get them likes up. Mark 7 GTI and Hyundai Elantra ends have potential for sure. What the fuck? What is happening on this chat? People saying dumb shit. Lund is the one I want to see, says Steven Contreras. They would never ban assist in stick shift classes. Too much big money to complain to persuade the rules. I agree. Basically, what Alex is saying, this racing is gay. That's why I stopped fucking with it, Tay Speaks. You understand? I stopped fucking with racing because I saw where it was going. A bunch of whiny ass motherfuckers that try to pressure the track race organizer to bend the rules to their favor. That's all it is. Racing is not racing. It's like saying wrestling, like WWE wrestling, is what happens in the ring when they're actually doing the wrestling moves. No. Wrestling is the showing up, the drama, the talking, the posturing, the announcing. That's the wrestling. The actual wrestling part is like minimal. Same thing with racing. The politics behind racing, the whining, the crying, the minimum weight, the turbo size, the inlet, the exhaust, the all this shit. It's all the posturing. And then you're like, well, your percentages of winning the race went up like 50% because you bitch and moan so much that they bent the rules to your favor. And then like Lund Racing, one Street Fighter, we didn't ask him for shit. They did the rule changes on their own. They wanted us there. And guess what happened? We had to power our way through that field. We didn't beat any schlubs. We beat fast guys. And we beat them by back halving the car because we just couldn't launch the car like we needed to. And guess what they did after the fact? They said, well, in order for you guys to fit the rules, you got to do this, 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 and be heavier. So we said, no. Did we complain? Did we say, hey, Miller, we don't like the rules. Please change it to our advantage so we can show up? No. We said, if those are the rules you're going to put out there because we obviously, did pretty well and you need more parity in that class, that's fine. We're not going to configure the car to fit those rules. Awesome. We didn't hate them for it. We just said that's what they needed to do to keep everything tight because we were going 209 and people were like 209 is too much mile an hour for Street Fighter because these cars live in the 200, 204 range. So, okay, you need to have more weight, smaller turbo, blah, blah, blah. And we said, nah, we're not going to configure it. But they did the right thing. They didn't bend the knee to us. They didn't get all pissy. They didn't make the rules to our favor. They just said, you know what? These are the rules based on your configuration. So we're just going to leave it here to have parity. We understood and we said, see you later. So if we were to want to run like World Cup, we'd have to go into the Warriors class and we don't got shit for those guys at all. They make meds for that. Is true. Those same stick shift guys complain about others using sequential transmission. Okay. So, stick shift guys. No problem, stick shift guys. So as long as you feel that you can have a slipper style device, an anti-money shift situation, meaning a money shift shifter on the car, then you should not be mad if these people show up to that same fucking race with a slipper style clutch and an anti-money shift device and run
Kramer
the
left.
numbers that they can
Butler
run.
Right. Coughlin still sitting on top. Derek Kramer tearing it up down low. Watch the left side scoreboard. Wow. 6:48.
Okay, so what is the difference between a car that launches with a clutch and the guy? Look at the guy's just pulling back on the shifter. Boom. Boom. See? He's just pulling back on the shifter. What's the difference between this car and any top tier stick shift car? Name your Billy Badass class. Don't tell me the tire. Don't tell me the chassis. Don't tell me any of that bullshit. Because half of your cars look like fucking Skeletor going down the track. Them shit don't look like fucking cars anymore. They separate so much that you can see through the fucking car on the bottom. So don't start talking about it looks like a street car. So if these guys show up to the track on a Billy Badass stick shift event, you should allow them in. Slipper clutch, anti-money shift device, strain gauge, whatever the fuck, and they're all motor. Tell me you would complain about those cars showing up to get $10,000. Stop it. Do you consider faceplating one of those cheater mods for sticks? I don't think so because I still think you have to clutch in depending on the clutch that you have. I'd like a slipper device so I can cut deep 1-2s and get it to the 8s, but slipping the clutch with no 2s, I've been running a number, has infinite gratification because you did it. Because you did it. Again, I'm a nobody. Who cares? Alex is gay. Sure, whatever. I'm not watching your shit. Oh, wow, this thing is not centered. Let me see. Yeah, it is centered. Okay, I'm not watching it. And again, I'm a nobody, right? Who cares if Alex doesn't watch stick shift racing? That's fine. Nobody's gonna get my rep because I just don't care about that shit. Drop a like and catch a replay later. The joke is that Rizzy's in the same spectrum as you two of DTP Racing. No, he's not. It's like he battled between FLK and the Blue ZL1 with stock everything battles for gay. What's he talking about? Kilometers. I think it happens in everything. Look at when Jordan played, they started to call and force more fouls because he was who everyone wanted to see. Oh boy, stop it. You obviously did not see the Pistons pretty much punch him in the face every time he went down the lane. Kilometers was contemplating a slip clutch, face split a car with diaphragm and synchro. By the way, Kilometers, I'll sell you my headers if you still want them. Headers and H-pipe for 2-inch primary, $1,000. I'm just the guy. Everyone backed out. I don't trust anyone anymore. So if you still want it, it's available. I'll get you the H-pipe and the headers for $1,000 shipped. So let me know if you want to play, because I'm trying to get all that money so I can get that Corvette built. And obviously the GT500 is going to get the Department of Boost blower and I think a Whipple 10 rib front drive, or Jake's front drive if it's 8 rib. It's all different levels of racing and a wall of measuring at the upper tiers. I'm into the vintage energy of racing, old crap, and having fun. 5.0 Tuscan is my spirit animal, fast ass stick shift car. Something I would have never thought I would have said is this. I actually like the gasser style vehicles. I actually like the gasser look, not the look, not anything. It's the thought process. The mechanical, old school, put a slick on it, rake it up in the air, slam gears, like cool shit like that. But the problem is, even those, you can get a slipper style clutch, this and this and that. And I think these vintage classes can come back and make a comeback because, number one, it's not a money thing. In order to build a top tier stick shift or Elite 28 car, you need $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 setup. Have you seen some of these cars go down the track and it looks like a praying mantis? They separate so much. And I'm like, wait a minute. At what point do we like separate, what's for the majority of people? I get it. Parity. I think making it less and less expensive for entry. At the top tier levels, you're arguing between millionaires or 100,000aires. And they're arguing about firewall. They're arguing about quarter panel. They're arguing about roof. They're talking about shock towers. Talking about the really dumbest shit. Forget those guys. Those guys are big money. I don't got that kind of money. I'm talking about just me and you. And I'm a stick shift guy. And I would love a class that says, bro, the only rule is a diaphragm style clutch and no strain gauge. Like, that's it. You got a clutch in and it's a diaphragm style clutch. Maybe the face plating, maybe that could be up to, but it's easy to enforce. It's really easy to enforce. Thought about that. Never thought about that. You are right. Okay, license plate on it. It's a street car. No, bullshit. That 6R80 isn't a 6R80. Exactly. No leg arm timing. Stick shift racers will never hold a candle to Bill Grumpy Jenkins back in the 60s when real men raced. Okay, so should be called the H pattern class. Just because I missed Tuesday's live. Fuck my same lifestyle. All the class racing rules are bullshit, which is why I like no prep racing. The tire is normally the only rule. I will agree with you there. That's like the only thing I would agree on. Run what you brung. The lack of grip is the equalizer. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb because you are now taking $100,000, $200,000 car that you built and basically going down ice in the first round. Maybe by round 2, 3, 4, there's more rubber down, but you better hope you draw, a later in the round. So there's some tire there, but the money is there. The people are there. The grassroots effort is there. So I get it. I understand how desirable it is. It becomes very hillbilly, very podunk, but very popular and very lucrative if you can build a Billy Badass no prep car. The moment you go to a prep situation, it's like whoever has the most money wins. It's just how it is. Those Southeast gasser cars are badass, but they all have V-gate shifters and no clutch to shift. No, thank you. No, thank you. Organized drag racing isn't fun. Old school drag racing for time slips and fun is just plain more enjoyable. I agree. Southeast Gasser Association is Billy Badass, and they do modern Dick Dandy Landy. Theo in a 2-door 55 Chevy. I'd do it. Speaking of the vet, did you ever get into contact with the gentleman I mentioned in the Bellhousing? Nope. This is who I got a hold of. I got a hold of the guy at Department of Boost. So the guy at Department of Boost, I started doing some thinking. I go, well, you were able to build and cast a intercooler. Let me ask you a question, sir. Do you know anyone who has the ability to do any CAD stuff? Do you know anyone that has the ability to do any scanning? Do you know anyone has the ability to machine, cut? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, let's talk. Got on the phone for an hour. This guy is great. And he's in Michigan. So the fact that he's in Michigan near Ford, all those guys, according to him, have like a CNC machine in their pole barn. They basically have 220, they have 3-phase going to their house just so that they can fuck around with their CNC machine. Those guys that used to work at Dearborn, used to work at the big three, they literally come home and they just like tinker with their CNC machines. A lot of the guys in the Northeast that are well-to-do or at least have a high-end mechanical mindset, they have a lathe, a Bridgeport, anything. They have a bunch of machining equipment in their house. He goes, yeah, I know a guy. I go, do you? Well, this is my thought process. I showed him the pictures. I showed him everything I need to do. I showed him the Corvette bolt pattern Bellhousing, and I took the Bellhousing out. I have it here. It's right there. And I said, I'll show him. It's actually very light. So I said, brother, this is the Corvette Bellhousing, right? And where's the bottom? There's the bottom. It goes like this. That's the bottom. That's 6 o'clock. That's the bottom right there. I said, I need this. I said, I need this Bellhousing. The width, the bolt pattern, the dowel locations, but the front has to be modular. That's all. It has to be Ford modular. So the front, Ford modular bolt pattern, Ford starter location. The back has to be this. Can you make it for me? And he said, yeah, that's not a problem. And I was like, my man, I like it. We talked on the phone, hammered out details. It's getting shipped Saturday to Michigan. So I'm getting the ball rolling on that. Late tonight, did he lace the baby oil in the lawsuit? Sheesh, only time fair is Index Racing. But Alex, oh my God. I swear I talked to you in 2014 about blow-through stuff at the shop CNS Specialties 660 Club. I don't know. I don't know who you are. Grumpy Carl was stolen right there, like a mile from here. Don't know who you're talking about. Gotta run later, Amy. Thank you, Thunderbird. Can we talk about the Snot Rocket testing last night going 101 60 foot? Do you think he could be competitive in the big boy class? Yeah, well, what is the big boy class? And where are we talking about? So let's talk about Brett's car, generally. They're going to bump him out of Warriors. I think the car, in terms of weight, turbo size, and fuel, and all this other stuff, if he ends up going to the Warrior class, he might be puppy kicking down there because a slow pass for him is like a 640, right? With that car, with that chassis, with that setup. So he's going to have to be moved into the, I don't know what class it's called, modified or something like that at World Cup. And that's the same class that they stuck Cletus in after they said, look, you got a big block with twin turbos. And when he won the Warriors versus Tres Cuarto class a couple years ago, people were like, okay, you got a billet SMX, you got a billet big block. He never went faster with the SMX than he did with the old big block, which was kind of interesting. They said you have a billet big block with twin 90s or twin 80s. You can't do that. Or not a billet big block, but a cast big block. Not an SMX with big twin 80s and meth. Regardless of your weight, you just got too much motor for this class. And a lot of people complained in that class and they got him out of this. So I think they preemptively told Brett, hey, you are going to go right to the crossover rules because he works with crossover rules. He doesn't run the Warriors class. He runs FL2K, TX2K crossover classes. So they're like going to stick him in the fastest shit, which is 5-second cars. So it'll be interesting to see how much he can hang. And if a Coyote can come out the winner on that situation, oh my God, the complaints, the excuses, the copium is going to come out of the woodwork. I know where our carpet is. I know I'm in the Southeast Gassers Love. Saw their event at Gulfport. Great atmosphere, fun racing to watch. I'd watch that all day over mod or stick shift racing. Exactly. Show us your shotgun. Thought Nick not saying in there suggests ML ghost watches? Probably. That's fucking badass shit right there for the ZR1. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Hell yeah, hope that Bellhousing gets done soon. Me too. Where's Nick? Blows my mind that the fabricators couldn't grasp what you wanted with the Bellhousing. Hope all works out with that. You know what I'm going to hear now, Ian Oz? After they see this segment, they'll go, oh, that's what you wanted? Yes. I wanted the back to be Corvette shit so I can bolt it to the torque tube and the front to be modular stuff. And then I do the rest. I got to figure out the spacer. I got to figure out the pilot bushing, pilot bearing situation, spacing for the... I got to figure all that out on my end. But it's got to be the exact same dimensions of the Corvette. And if it's the exact same dimensions of the Corvette, I don't have to do anything special. Everything will just fit. But it has to be the exact width, Dowel location, everything, just a forward bolt pattern. Like that. I can't believe that's going to be that difficult. So what I'm going to have to do more than likely is after they scan that and get the plotting, the bolt pattern, I'm going to have to buy like a QuickTime bell for our T56 to a modular. They're going to cut that off. And with the plotted bolt pattern, they're going to put a pad on the QuickTime bell, weld it on, make sure it's true, straight, put it up against the Corvette stuff, and probably charge me a couple $1,000s. But guess what? That's what you got to do. He said the class they put him in runs numbers he's never ran. Yeah, I get it. It's not rocket. I say it will run 389, 589 the way it is now. It's possible if the see, World Cup is amazing because it's located in a perfect area. Not Waldorf. Waldorf is if you've been up there, it's a little funky. So the time of year, the track prep is just phenomenal. Like you get kind of spoiled by that track prep because you go anywhere else. I used to think Texas 2K had the best track prep. Then I found out he was the guy that prepped the track at TX2K. And then I find out he's the one that owns MIR or he's involved in it. And it has badass track prep. So yeah, it spoils you for sure. So you're building that 3-valve when Trump was right. LaSalle and Renegade versus Modified. Got it. Why didn't you just say that? Right. Why didn't you just say that? I'm like, I did say it. See, I think I explained myself pretty well. But the problem is, I don't think people grasp my vision. And I explained it like 13 times. I called Tick. I called QuickTime. I called Tremec. You know what they said? Oh, that doesn't exist. I go, yeah, I know. I asked you if this is something you can make. And then they're like, well, but it doesn't exist. Why am I talking to you? From Michigan. I thought he was going to do a YOLO live. What are you talking about? Could you explain why a T4 flange bottleneck single turbo coyote stuff? Don't care. Like, what are you talking about? Hey, Yunk, how can you tell if the cats are going out in a car? And if the cats are cooked? Are they worth replacing or should I go free-flowing exhaust? So Alan Larios. Typically, what the computer does, and this is mind-blowing to a lot of people, the computer in your car tells you what's wrong with your car. So a lot of people hit me up and they go, well, I got a circuit code. I have a MAF sensor circuit code. What do you think the problem is? You have a circuit issue at the MAF sensor. What does that mean? It's not connected. A pin is pushed out. It's an intermittent connection, or you have a bad MAF sensor. Oh, yes. A MAF sensor circuit code. There is an issue with the circuit. So people say, I got this code. And they send me the code, P2196. I'm like, did you Google it? No. Then they Google it. Oh, so you think it's an O2? What's Google say? Oh, it says it's an O2. It even tells you which bank it is. So, back to the cat. Typically, you're going to experience, if the car is boosted, higher than normal boost numbers. Because typically when a cat cooks, it melts and it bottlenecks the flow on that bank. So you're going to start seeing either an intermittent O2 reading on that side, or you're going to see a higher than normal, I don't want to say air load value, but boost number. If you're measuring boost with a gauge and you were making 10, you're generating 10 PSI at sea level at, normal DA, and then all of a sudden you're making 12, but the car's not making any more power, you have more of a restriction somewhere. But this is like normal, how mechanical things work thought process. If you have no idea how cars work, you might not even have a clue as to what I'm talking about. They put him on Renegade. My dog literally just jumped up and started barking. Would you recommend buy a 350 or a 13 or 14 GT500? With all of that information that you gave me, you should buy a Gen 2 Mustang. MIR is perfect. Around 417, letting off. Here we go with this letting off stuff. Guys, you understand, like if you 1,000-foot something, the difference between you staying in it and not staying in it is not 3/10. Like you understand, like if I have a really fast car and I, at the 1,000-foot mark, let off and I run a 650, you think if I stay in it, it's going to run 6.0? No, I'd probably run a 641 or 648 or 645. Just the mile an hour is lower. What What clutch is going to go to 0-1 when it gets to that point of the build? Same thing you would use in a Mustang, like a McLeod 1200. No Mantic, no Vengeance. Not fucking with either of those. I'll put just a run-of-the-mill, off the shelf McLeod 1200. It's only going to make about 850 to 900. That's it. Because if not, then I have to put a fuel system in the Corvette. And that's like dropping the transaxle, dropping the tank, buying a $3,000 Ford Innovations fuel system. Fuck all that. Flanges don't bottleneck turbos, exhaust turbines, speed can be restricted. It's flow versus velocity discussion. That's why I just didn't even want to bother. After a year of 10 PSI in stock cats, my car just threw a P430 last weekend. An excuse for FFE, absolutely. Miss you on Spotify. You're only one. I love you. Nobody watched me on Spotify. Maybe 100 people download it every week. And that does not make you any money. In order to make money on Spotify, you need millions of downloads. And nobody is watching my show on Spotify that much because most of you guys watch it on YouTube or replays. That's it, and that's where I make my money. Peter says, ATF in Davie has CNC. They can mostly likely make one. JC Customs Palm Beach has a CNC also. Don't care. I'm not fucking with anybody in Florida. You know who I'm fucking with? People from the Northeast. There is so if when you come down here, if you decide to move down here, you're going to realize really quickly that everyone is lazy here. You want something fast? Te jodiste. You want high-end knowledge? Te jodiste. The guy from Department of Boost knows people that worked at SVT, knows people that worked at Ford, knows people that have CNC machines and a bunch of other shit in their backyard. I will go where the industry is. And if you have those people, like he said, in your Rolodex, because I have Jake Long, he's going to rebuild the transmission for Donnie because it feels like it's slipping a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take it out Saturday. I'm going to take it to Jake and I'm going to make a whole video and disassembly and assembly of the 6R80 with billet parts. Why am I going to do billet parts with this thing? No 4R200 hub. It's going to be a 6-speed because when I sell Donnie, because I'm going to sell Donnie, I want it to have the best parts possible. It'll eventually have a built rear end. It'll eventually have a TIG Vision anti-roll bar. It'll eventually have Maximum Motorsports suspension components. It'll eventually have a sleeve bottom end 11-to-1 compression motor. It's going to be a badass car by the time I'm done with it. At what horsepower do you upgrade from a 4 fuel system to a different fuel system? Over like 1600 when we needed to go mechanical. But we needed to go mechanical mostly because of volume. 3 285s or 3 295s. We were starting to see some issues at, well, it's kind of hard to explain. So the regulator that we had, we needed about 125 or 130 PSI of pressure on it. And the problem, that was just regular off-the-shelf 4 stuff. Once we went to a, belt-driven pump, shit, we had scavenging. We had basically the vacuum pump and a fuel pump at the same time. And we were able to run a blend of methanol. That's the thing. We needed more volume. And we just ran out of volume with 285s. Now, if you're going to stay on an ethanol-based fuel, I think you can get up to 1,500 horsepower with a triple 285 or triple 295, 1,1600, maybe 1,700. But by that point, people just upgrade to like a brushless ID or a mechanical pump at that point. It's just easier. Hey, bitch, new YouTube member says, Dr. T-Wall, I'm just trying to understand. I was told that via the ticket system. Be careful. Not sure what power limit on the torque tubes are, but my buddy just destroyed his at Slush. Might be worth upgrading. It's already upgraded, Bryson. The torque tube is upgraded. Got the badass ends, the badass shaft. It's got everything. It's upgraded. Renaissance decided to give up on VMP's tuning when they told me they only recommended SET. Just ordered my Lund tune for the Gen 3R. Oh, we should talk about that. We should talk about that. Relax, Alex. Shh. But anyway, Renaissance Engineering, thank you for coming over to the dark side. So you're saying you won't let someone else work on your car? Heard he's pretty good. No, just buy YouTube Premium, let you play in the background even when the phone is locked. Jack Martin says, Alex, I'm an Alaska and did a lot of research on C6 suspension. Best money for money mod is silver coilovers while throwing that Coyote in, or Vikings DA shocked if you plan on drag race and maximum travel. I understand, but I'm going to roll out with the stock stuff for now. Paul Pontillo, dímelo mi gente, dropping a like and a cash replay later. Austin, on the way to Austin in the morning. Dibs on right to refusal for Donnie. It's going to be like a built motor, built rear end, built trans, low 9-second car, it's going to be over $30,000. I love you. How do you go about selling cars you modify? Where do you post it or what? It's going to be here or Facebook, or that's it. It's going to be word of mouth. I usually don't even have to advertise. Apple account got screwed, so I had to start my membership all over, says Colby. Just noticed Calamar isn't on the sponsor board anymore. Dude, just not paying the bill, or did you switch up the... I didn't switch up. If you want a built manual MT82, Calamar is the way to go. If not, get a T56. If you want gear ratio options, get a T56. If you want a race-oriented transmission, get a T56. But Ben Calamar stuff is good. I just wanted to put sponsors on that pay a monthly nut. I'm not saying he didn't. I did it as a courtesy to him and LMP. LMP didn't ask me to put the sponsors up. I thought they just did such a good job, generally, that I put it up there. But then I said, I want to get paid for rep, and I'm not asking them to pay. I'm just saying the people that have paid all along should be up on the board, and that's who is up on the board right now. Omar says, Alex, is Donnie going to have all that awesome Cal-Track suspension that all the YouTubers run? Not just no, fuck no. It's going to have Maximum Motorsport stuff, Viking Warriors or Crusaders, whatever, and AK valving, that's all he's selling. He's selling revalved bullshit. It's AK valve Vikings in the front, but I don't think I'll need that to run 9.0. I didn't need Cal-Track stuff to run 9.0. Donnie's car, Donnie Renfro, who had basically that car and what my car is named after, he had basic shit. He had stock struts in the front or single adjustable stranges, which is what I have in my GT500. And my GT500 went 8.1 at 169. I'm going to literally duplicate my suspension in the GT500. And for a lot of you that asked, I'm going to make a very detailed video as to the suspension setup in the GT500. A lot of you have asked, what's in the GT500? That sucker hooked on sand. I'm like, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it up in the air. I'm going to take everything out and show you everything that's going on underneath so that you're up to on game as to what's done to the GT500. And it has, I believe, a Maximum Motorsports upper with the mount. It has, what's the other company? What's the other company that does Fox body stuff also? Team Z, I think it has the upper and the box and the arm. It has the Maximum Motorsports lowers and bars. It's got a TIG Vision anti-roll bar. It's got a welded 8.8 with a spool and 33 spline axles. It's got, I believe, a Team Z front or other. It might. I hope it's not BMR, but it might be the old BMR shit. And it's got strange single coilovers in the front, and it's got limiters, chains, old school. So nothing fancy in that car, and it just worked. T1 ID brushless is baller. Ship. Good ship. Just looking out. Can't wait to catch this adventure with the ZR1. ML is good at building cars as he's brushing his teeth. Plaqued up. Damn. Alex, do you recommend 370 gears for 355s for boost? Gen 3 manual. Guys, what's missing in that? What boost? Gen 3 manual, and you want to know if you want 373s. Yes. Yeah. Because the MT82 D4 variant is geared a lot differently than the Gen 1, Gen 2 variant. So yeah, 373s or 409s. Garrett L says, appreciate it, deal. Didn't want to get flamed for that. Missed the last few live shows. You got it. Oh, I figured it'll be 32 plus, but built motor and trans, 100% worth it. Exactly. If it's a built motor, built trans, built rear end, because the Lunds have an 8.8 that I have my eye on, that I'll still sell for $32,000. But if that motherfucker runs an 8.8, shit. Alex, not sure if you mentioned this already, but did you happen to get the Whipple S650 that hit 1,000 on the dyno? Wonder if it'll run, though. That's the thing. I don't doubt these cars showed 1,000 rear roll horsepower on a hub dyno. A hub dyno shows a higher number than a dyno jet, but it is more consistent. Less variables. No tire spin. So you will see a better number with a hub dyno than you would a dyno jet. Like a chassis dyno. Now, let's get that car to the track when now it's pushing its own weight through the atmosphere, through the earth, and we'll see if 1,000 horsepower showing on a hub dyno translates to an 8-second quarter mile. Because that's what it has to run. Because this thing over here at 920 rear roll horsepower went 9.1 at 152, 153. So, I don't know. Alex would probably run Monroe shocks before Caltrax, exactly. Alex, did you ever fix the lockout yet? No, I have not. I just turned it off. And look, time. I'm one guy. I love you guys. I have no time. Are you going to weld an anti-roll bar on Donnie? You have to weld an anti-roll bar on Donnie. But yes, it's going to get more than likely a TIG Vision anti-roll bar. Just did 373s on my Fox today, and with this 150 shot, the car went 8,460 to 130. That's pretty quick for a stock motor manual car. The Jocko Bell, was it a Coyote swap car? Fuel injected fuel system for 85, or force induction fuel system for 85, or built trans for my Gen 2 6R80 2.3 Roush car. I want to be at 750 wheel in the end, thinking about to get the trans built first. You need the 85 to make 750 wheel. That's what you're just going to have to do. Exactly, Garrett L. That's the question I ask people. What do you want to do with your car? According to him, he wants to drag race. And I'm like, okay. And he's got an ESS G2. You need 409s with a G2. G2 with a 110 millimeter pulley makes 12 PSI. Or 105 millimeter pulley, it blows up. So I don't know why you got a G2. I don't know why anyone buys a G2. I'll be honest with you. G3X or nothing. Since La Sala went on the Go Hard podcast, do you think of him differently? We were never friends, though. We were never enemies. But no, I don't fault him. Anybody can go on any podcast. I don't know him. I don't know him personally. I've had 3 or 4 conversations with him in my life, and he's been very friendly, and he's been nice. No ill will. He did say some boxer stuff that I thought was, interesting, and I mentioned it and I make fun of it, but I don't hate the guy. No, gosh, no. If anything, he's in with the Lunds. We have his Falcon up there. His wife, is it a wife or a girlfriend, has a blue Whipple Falcon up there, Coyote shop. I'm like, we fucks with the car. On a personal level, I just don't know him, so I'm not going to speak on him. I've met Christian Murillo maybe 3 times. I've met maybe Moretti once. Jim Brom, I've actually had multiple conversations with, but we're not tight. I'm not tight with any of those guys, but there's no hate. It's just a different group of guys. That's all. I think if you were to put it, if I was to opine on their thought process of me, is they don't know how to take me. I think they look at me, they're like, we don't know if he likes us or not. And we don't want to be too close to them because he talks a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I make thousands of dollars talking. So of course I'm going to talk a lot. Sure. But if they were to say, hey, Alex, we would love to have a connection, access. Hell, we give you access to us, then we can get our word out, whatever. But they got Cooper for that too. So they don't need me. You know what I mean? They don't need me. Now they got Cletus. They're good. But I don't have any ill will towards those guys at all. But I think they look at me like a ticking time bomb. And they're not wrong about that. Not against them, just in general. I could say fuck this whole industry tomorrow and I'll survive and I'll be okay. So maybe I'm not desirable because I'm a little less stable than more people in this game, but I don't have any hard feelings about those guys at all. They seem to be nice guys to the Lunds, and the way they treat the Lunds makes me think they're good guys. So there you go. S650 making 1,000 horsepower on the dyno, or dyno queen's got to run 10s at best. How's that S650 running 1,000 horsepower? How many runs till it blows? I don't know. Again, I think it'll do it on a hub dyno, no problem. I just don't think it'll do it pushing itself through the earth. Watch it run 9.7. I love my TIG Vision and a roll bar. It's the best. You've actually put an ARB on it. I'll have Turvey weld it. Nope, it'll be it'll probably be Thunder. If I'm gonna have any work done to the car, it'll be Thunder. Yeah, so does UPR, Cole Daniel. Wait, did I mishear Alex? Did he say Section 8 had single adjustable shocks up front? Yes, single strange coilovers. Do not use 410s for roll racing. Trust me, I had them and they suck. My bad, Alex. I meant that lockout question as a joke. No stress. Gotcha. I got it. I got to get it done because it's annoying. You're right. You still have to weld the plates in for the bolt, I think. Exactly. Sadly, no. Old school 302. That's pretty good. Old school 302 running 8,460 to 130 with 100-something shot. That is badass. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. I want to fucks with the old shit. Old school. Don't get me wrong, Coyote is my bread and butter. I'm not going to ever dump Coyote. But if I'm going to do anything going forward, it's going to be old school shit. I love that stuff. Team Z, bolt-in ARB is what came factor on this 197 Cobra Jets. 100% bolt-in. How does it tie to the rear end? Let me look it up. Hold on. Everyone here hit that thumbs up. Thank you. Have you ever done a second year lead for the 4200 with a Gen 1 tuning computer? No. Junior. No, he did a 6R. No, Cocaine. You need a fucking 430. I don't know what gear's in it right now, but it's going to leave lazy. Kilometers. They suggest welding it to the housing, but mine is not, and it's held up 10,000 miles on 4. Okay, whatever. Watson, 11 to 14 anti-roll bar. What the fuck are you talking about? I just want to be a bolting. Okay, here we go. No, these are roll bars. Anti-roll bar. ARB. Fuck. Watson has the worst. Hey, can someone put up a link? Roll bar, 6-point roll bar, anti-roll bar, anti-roll, not like roll bar, like ARB. It doesn't say. So can someone put up a link? I'll check that out. I gotta think of a question for the giveaway. Let me do some research real quick to think of a question for the giveaway. It's gonna be Star Trek shit. You don't like it? Go fuck yourself. Okay. Hold on. That's a 5? No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. That's crazy. Okay. No, I already did that. I already did that. So it's all Star Trek Next Generation stuff. Okay. Let's see. So again, I'm looking up Star Trek trivia, but it has to be like inside baseball stuff you can't Google easily. But because you guys just Google it and you find it. Sorry. Okay. I was hoping that I could find something on. I love the Klingon side of things. I've always liked the Klingon side of things because it seems to be like in depth. Like they go into like in depth of the house of this, house of that, but it became a little crazy. Okay, this one's really easy. Okay, so for a hoodie, I'm going to give away a hoodie or whatever you want from ridgeprints.com. Oh, someone's got a link for the S197 anti-roll bar. Well, how the fuck is this totally bolted? How does it like tie to the rear end? How does this tie to the rear end? It's got these links. How does it tie to the rear end? Oh, wait a minute. Shit. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's a bolted anti-roll bar. So it bolts into the ends of the thing instead of the middle and no adjustability. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't know. I'd have to see it installed in a car to be convinced, but I'm not a big fan of how it mounts, to be honest with you. It's just not my thing. Okay. Where, someone says Bird of Prey. What was Tasha Yar's daughter's name? Go. You can Google it. Tasha Yar's daughter's name. Now, Tasha Yar actually went back in time because she was caught in some weird shit. And it ended up being, because in an alternate past, she was eaten by this blob early on. And then in an alternate reality, she was sent back in time, captured by the what are the other ones? The other one, not the Vulcans, the other one, the Romulans, and she had a half daughter. There we go, Renee. Good job, Renee. Winning. Sella is the name of Tasha Yar's daughter because she was sent back in time, had a love child with a Romulan, and the daughter, attempted to infiltrate the Klingon. She was supplying the Klingon Empire. The house of Gowron and the Duras family, I think, were fighting, if I'm not mistaken. And they were providing arms to the Duras. And then, because they can cloak, they were able to hide themselves through this blockade that the Federation set up. And then Data actually went against orders, and he threw on some tachyon particles, and it ended up being able to trace or track the convoy of supplies being given to the Duras by the Romulans, and he found out, and Sella had to back off because she was just arming the Duras family against Gowron in the Klingon Civil War. There you go. So Renee, ydbtforlife@gmail.com, ydbtforlife@gmail.com. Send me your address and send me your size. And richprince.com. That's right, richprince.com. You're going to get something from richprince.com, whatever you want, brother. You want a hoodie, Dolo, YDBT, you want Amri, you want YOLO, whatever the hell you want. You want Section Hate. I like the Section. The Section Hate hoodie is baller. And I wear this shirt to the gym all the time. It just hits. He did such a good job with the design. I hope he just does that to a whole bunch of other shit. It's really cool. So he did a good job. So Renee, hit me up. ydbtforlife@gmail.com. Congratulations. Someone said Omar said it first. Where? Whoa. Renee? Sella. Oh, shit. Okay, then this is what I'll do because I don't want to fuck anyone up. Omar and Renee, you both get sweaters or whatever you want. I apologize. Omar X. Sella is Tasha Yar's daughter. So Omar, you get a hoodie or whatever you want. And Renee, because I got your hopes up and I fucked up. So if I fuck up, I give both of you guys shit. You guys both will get hoodies. So Omar and Renee, you're both members. Hit me up, ydbtforlife@gmail.com. Both of you, tell me both of your sizes. I will get you richprince.com collections /YDBT hoodies, shirts, whatever you want. I got you, brother. Omar and Renee, both of you get stuff. That's how I do it. Omar said it first, bro. Just barely missed it. Omar. I know. Omar got it. They both got it. That's how I do it. I don't fuck around. Sorry, I'm late. Amazon Prime. Renee, you're gonna get it. Just hit me up, brother. Just hit me up. Theo, read the chat. I did. Relax. I had to, wait a little bit. Who is hitting me up this late at night? If you hit me up, you better give me some chon chon because this is stupid. You can't be hitting me up at 9:30 at night and not expecting to give up the cooling. You the man, Alex. You got it, brother. Any comments on Midnight Performance? What happened? What did I miss on Midnight Performance? What did I miss? Did something happen with Midnight that I'm not aware of? I haven't talked about them for a long time. It's no hate. I just, we run in different circles. They run this grudge world that I'm not privy to. We don't tune them because they run fuel tech in the really fast stuff. I think they still run stock computer stuff, but John does those trucks, and there's like 5 of them. So it's not really a big worldwide thing. I don't see a lot of tuning coming from that. I think they changed their business model. So supposedly the turbos they make, the turbo kit they make is pretty legit. You know what Midnight should do? Midnight, start making those kits for Mustangs. Those Velocity kits, start making them for Mustangs. Build a K-Series Mustang. Leo, that is not a bad thing. So a lot of K-Series guys, let's be honest, the Coyote, if you cut it in half, it's very similar to a K-Series. Hemi, 4 valves per cylinder. I'm not sure if it has VCT. But imagine if I build a little Mustang notch with a high revving, high compression. No, hold on. I just do turbo. Yeah, I'd make it easy. Honda motor. Why not? Fuck it. They don't carry 3XL? Jesus Christ. I almost said it. KC526 hitting you up. She hit me up a little bit ago because it was actually her, but she ain't looking for no bitch. I think she's. I think she's just like the friendship. Hey, ladies, talk to me. Yeah. If you're going to be a woman in my wavelength, we're either fucking or we're not talking. There is no room in my life for a female friend. If you are wanting to be in my life in a female capacity, ese toto's got to be splattered on my bed and I can slam it once in a while. I don't got any time or energy for anything else. Friendships. Nah. I made some toto and we're good. No toto, no friendship. Real easy. It's very easy. Men are not friends with women. That does not exist, especially attractive women. Men that have an attractive girl as a friend, they're just waiting for her to be weak one day so they can get some of the toto. They're disingenuous. They're liars. Check your email. I sent you my ARB. Okay, so according to Kilometers, he has a ARB in his car that's completely bolted. If that's the case, I'll do that. Oh, good. Shout out to you, brother. Oh, they use the mounts. Look at this, guys. Shout out to Kilometers. Now I see what you're talking about. So they use these mounts here. God damn it. Oh, you can still run the stock exhaust? Oh, that's cool. You got the magnet flows, papa. Damn. This is GT500 right here. Oh, he's got bias plies. He's got... Is it welded? Yo, yeah, it's welded. Okay, good. He's welded it. He's got Team Z stuff. Yep, Team Z everywhere. Look at that. He even marked it. He's got Team Z everything. Stock OTAs? Looks like it. Probably got Team Z. Okay, you know what, brother? I'm going to look into them. Yes, that's nice. So this is like a bracket that they bolt in? That's cool. Okay. So basically it makes the body parallel to the rear end, and by this method, as opposed to tabs welded on the rear end, that's very nice. Actually, that's a very good idea. I'm going to look into that. I like that very much. Shout out to you for sending me that photo. Good job. Thank you guys. Bro, this chat is so badass. I love this chat. Tom's Refurb has one Mustang. Do an SVO. Keep it turbo. No, I'm not going to do it. Oh, dude, that'd be so badass. Coyote Crime Lord. If I can find an 86 SVO and put a K series in it, that's another 35,000 fucking dollar project. Build the Nico Boost 4-cylinder. Yeah, I don't have his number, Bryson Witt. I'll be honest, guys. I saw Alex tab when he shared his screen, so I just looked it up first. Gotcha. Tasha, your daughter. Exactly. JD calling Alex during the show. LOL. No. EcoBoost blows head gasket. Female friend. That's a thing. That's not a thing. Diddy's friends with every female woman. K-Series has both VCT and dual valve lift cam profiles, both intake and exhaust. I'd have to get on game on that. K24 with T56 will be nasty. A late 85 SVO. And for those of you that don't know what an SVO is, 1985 SVO. This is one of those cool, weird cars. In its day, it was actually quicker than the GT. The 85-86 Mustang SVO was a 4-cylinder turbo car, ridiculously well balanced, great suspension. If I'm not mistaken, it had Bilstein stuff. It had 5-lug from the factory, 4-wheel disc brakes. This was the Fox body to have back in the day. Unfortunately, they stuck a 4-cylinder in it, but it was very well balanced. This is a cult car. There's some weird guys that follow it. And unfortunately, this is like an 84 with the sucked in lights, but I like the 85, 86 with the flush lights. The flush lights are king. This car, 4-wheel disc brakes, had a weird wing in the back, right here, this double wing in the back. Very cool car. So if you're a SVO Fox body fan, this with a K-Series motor, T56 and a built 8.8, bro. Big turbo too. Big, dumb, stupid, silly turbo. Bro, that'd be so cool. I think it'd be cool. Be a death trap. There's a swap Fox somewhere on YouTube with a Turbo 400. EcoBoost engines sound like ass after Mexican street corn. Kilo. Don't forget to show them your Fender. Oh, what happened to your Fender? By the way, do you still want the headers or not? Let me know. Because if not, I'm going to start packaging everything, and next week I'm going to be shipping shit. I got to ship stuff to Ultimate Header. I got to ship the Bellhousing to the guy up in Michigan. I got to ship the blower to Kong. I'm going to be spending like $500 just in shipping. That's the stock sway bar link mounts. I like it. It works. Looks like the stock sway bar bracket. My brother has a stupid clean dark SVO. He would probably sell to you. The motor's taken apart, so it'd be cheap. The Jocko Bell. Email me. Because once Donnie goes 9-0, bro, it's time to party. It's time to sell shit. Once the GT500 goes 8, if someone wants it, I could sell it. But I think I'm going to keep the Z01 and I'm going to keep the Fairmont. But the 2 Mustangs can go, for sure. For the right price, of course. 5 lug and 4-wheel disc, ran with E30 M3s on the track. Turbo Coupe Thunderbird is similar to the SVO, but it's ugly. See, Turbo Coupe Thunderbird is ugly. Turbo Coupe Thunder is ugly. Is ugly. I'm sorry. If you think this is comparable to the Mustang, you are smoking some fucking great shit, and I want some of that. Because if you think this hunk of shit held a candle to Mustangs, yes, it's a Fox body. This is hideous. It's heavier. It come on, man. This is just the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen. You could call it good. This is so this is hideous. Hideous. I hate that car. I hate everything about that car. Anyone that likes it, it doesn't have a following. The Super Coupe was better, right? The Thunderbird SC was better. Yep, this was better. This had a 3.8 supercharged Eaton, I think. This had IRS. This thing was actually pretty quick. So imagine, this is pretty fucking badass. See, these old Fords, when these guys were snorting cocaine nonstop, bro. Yeah, I could fucks with this. Absolutely. So this had a 3.8 liter V6. It loved eating up head gaskets. Just a complete shit show. But in its day, it was actually pretty cool. I would never coyote swap this because I think it's ugly to coyote swap. But in its day, this was Billy Badass. And then the Lincoln 4.6 LSC, I think it's called. This I think came with a Texid block for the 4.632 valve. I think the LSC versions of the situation. Fender hit and run. Interested in the headers? Interested on the headers? Give me a couple weeks. Damn it, currently dealing with. Okay, no problem, brother. Sam, sucks that you're a headers guy. But this thing came with a dual overhead cam V8, 4.632 valve. And I think it came with a Texid block. And that's where people used that block to build Cobra motors back in the day after their shit exploded. So, cool stuff. I like the Lincoln Mark V version. Got it. Swap a pace car. Great little autocross car. Dude, should totally case swap an 86 SVO. Just depends on the Ford Tards and ball wash blue oval. I get it. Hey now, my very first car was an 86 Coupe with a 5.0. Love that car. My dad and uncles had that. How about the Lincoln LSC from 88, 89? Lincoln LSC 88. Like it 19. Yes, I had one of these. So when my sister fucked me over on a house, that's a good story. I had this car. This was a 5.0 Lincoln LSC, and these things had an air suspension, 5 liter from a Mustang, and an AOD transmission. This thing was actually kind of cool for its day. Basically, it's a luxury Mustang, extremely heavy. What's the interior look like? I think it was very plush. Yeah, look at this fucking thing. Oh my God, bro. This thing was a hopped up Fox body. Look at it. It's a Fox body. Just look at it. Would you just look at it? So this had a Mustang 5 liter. It had an AOD transmission. It had air ride. But like it's just too heavy to put a Mustang motor in it or a Coyote in it. It's just way too fucking heavy. But it was also another cult car of the 80s. Look at how clean that shit is, bro. It basically looks like the Thunderbird. It just looks like a nice hopped up Thunderbird, to be honest with you. But cool cars of the 80s and 90s that you won't see ever again Ford make. All the homies hate your sister, her kids too. Fuck her and her kids. Fuck them. Fuck all y'all. Y'all suck my dick. Fucked me over on a house, man. Fuck them. Looks like S14 sort of. Those birds were 5.0 swap parts for the back in the day. A buddy had a T-Birds SC. It was pretty quick for the time. Also, SC roof swap Fox body Mustang. My wife was driving a Cougar when I met her. There's a guy doing a Predator swap on a Super Coupe. That's stupid. It's Grandma Thunderbird. The Lincoln I like. That's the Lincoln I like. What are those? Cowicepticon says, I want a clean Mark 7 with a Coyote TVS 680 sitting on black Y2Ks. Are you in your 30s or early 40s? Because that sounds like something I would build. One Slow 2 Valve says, oh yeah, Poppy, might be a stupid question, but can my rear end gears have an effect on my rev limiter on a turbo setup to limit the amount of RPMs in one single gear? Will my rear gears have an effect on my rev limiter on a turbo setup to limit the amount of RPMs in one single gear? Yeah, the Thunderbird had an IRS, Recon 5.0. The Super Coupe The Super Coupe had a IRS. So the Thunderbird Super Coupe 3.8 V6 had a IRS that you can bolt into a Fox body. Bolt into a Fox body. Reminds me of the XE or XD Falcon here in Australia, starting in 89. Yes, Rican, exactly. Called the M112 chassis T-Bird. Whoa, that's a lot of retardation. Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to say, Slow 99. I think he's trying to say that he wants to keep it in one gear, go very long, and stay in one gear. And so you have to numerically drop the gear ratio or just put it in another gear. I don't know. I don't even understand the question. To be honest with you, I'm not trying to make fun. I don't have the energy or the time to make fun. I just don't know what the fuck you're saying. I had a 95 Cobra SC and I had a 95S Super Coupe and it would be SN95s in the 4.6 GT cars stock for stock. I agree. Those cars were quicker. Super Coupe had 8.8 IRS. Exactly. Let's look at it. Super Coupe, Thunderbird, SC, IRS. There it is. The Super Coupe had an IRS from hell. And this is what it looked like. And if you wanted to, let's say, upgrade your Fox body to a Thunderbird Super Coupe IRS, you get yourself a Super Coupe and you swap all the parts over. And you have yourself, and this was like, he's right. These cars were parts bin cars for Mustang guys. So like, if you have an 86 notch, if you have a GT, something really nice, and you wanted to like have a better ride and just have, you can bolt in Super Coupe parts because it's all Fox body junk, and vice versa. So a lot of people used these cars as parts bin cars, and they were so plentiful. They were everywhere. See, the competitor to this was the Grand Prix. What year? 92 Grand Prix? 92 Grand. Correct. So back in the day, what a time to be alive. These, call me crazy. This bitch is bad. So in the 90s, again, these guys were high as fuck. You had the Super Coupe. Let me see. 92 SC Thunder. You had the Super Coupe. You had the competitor, the Grand Prix. You also had, Chevy had the Cavalier Z24. They also, look at this. Oh shit, what am I doing? Images. This Cavalier Z24 was actually pretty quick. 2.8 liter front wheel drive V6. It was a cool car. Don't say it wasn't. It was a K series, but this was a cool car. They also have a Chevy Beretta Z26. Bro, if you had this in 1990 something, you were getting so much pussy. Look at that car, bro. Look at the wheels. Look at the design. This was a cool fucking car back in the 90s. 96 Chevy Beretta Z26. And to top it all off, if I'm not mistaken, there was a Citation Z series car. Citation Chevy. Yes, an X11 K car Chevy Citation back in the day. And I believe Ford had an Escort GT. Yeah, bro. They had an Escort GT back in the day. And it looked like a mini version of a Fox body. They also had a Taurus SHO. And the cool thing about the Taurus SHO, it was the first car that had no window trim. Like it was smooth. See this? See this stuff? This was the first car that came with that smooth glass fashion. Didn't have all these trim pieces that all these modern cars have. But this was like the first of its kind. So the 90s was rocking with some weird fucking cars. It's just that, I think people just eventually just started kind of reading off of the same playbook. And everything just kind of melded and kind of did the whole thing. The Z34 Lumina. Let's wrap it up with the Z34 Chevy Lumina. A head gasket's worst nightmare is this Chevy Lumina. It was just again, all these cars were around at the same time. The Beretta, the Grand Prix, the Super Coupe, the Cavalier, the Citation, the Escort GT, the Taurus SHO. All these cars were around, and you knew somebody that had the Dale Earnhardt edition of this motherfucker. Right here. Some dumb son of a bitch somewhere bought the Dale Earnhardt front-wheel drive Lumina and drove it around like he's King Dingaling with Marlboros rolled up in his sleeve and the mullet. But yeah, the Lumina was a thing. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So we talked about whiny, complaining racers that make the promoter change the rules to fit most of the people. Usually what ends up happening is they kick out the fast guys. The fast guys then have to find other classes to race in, and they thrive on the fast stuff. So all you're doing is you're kicking guys out of classes that people want to see to appease the slower guys. If you think that's a winning combination, I will point you to NMRA, and they went bye-bye after they did the same thing to Billy Badass Turbo Coyotes. There was no Turbo Coyote in NMRA that was making steam, a street-oriented class, because they basically regulated them out of existence, and they went on to race in FL2K, TX2K, World Cup, and other street car racing series. I'm out of here. I'll be back on Sunday morning. Peasant Chat. Omar and Renee, hit me up. I will get you guys sweaters or hoodies or shirts or stickers, whatever you want from richprinceusa.com/collections, YDBT. We'll get you guys going because I messed up on the whole situation of the naming, but I'll get you both. You both win, basically, so everyone wins here. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Sunday morning for Peasant Chat. Have a good week. See you.